Hey everyone, I'm Kevin Kekstat, creator of Your Success PDQ. What I do is I help people build stronger communication skills through various workshops as well as one-on-one coaching. In this video, I'm going to basically introduce a rubric or a guideline regarding how to put a basic presentation together. The objective is not so much to give a great speech, although that's always nice, but the objective is more so to be a good speaker. And there's a difference between the two. If someone writes you a really good speech and you've memorized it and memorized how you're going to deliver it and everything else, that may work. However, a good speaker can speak on a number of different topics by using the rubric that I'm going to introduce to you today. And so whether you're asked an impromptu question or have to put together an informational speech or a persuasive speech, it's good to have a set of guidelines to follow that you know where you are in that process and you can deliver that a little more confidently than if you're just sort of thrown to the wolves, so to speak, without having any real agenda as to how you're going to put your argument forward. So that's basically what I'm going to tackle today, is to just unpack what that rubric looks like and what it means, and it just makes it easier for a presenter all around to give their talk. Now, if you've watched previous videos or have some knowledge of speaking, you know that in a presentation there's an opening and a body and a conclusion. And the opening of your speech, you're basically addressing the subject, letting the audience know what it is you're going to unpack. And when you correlate this with the rubric, this would basically be your thesis, your master statement. That would be in your opening. That's what you're going to address. So you're going to let the audience know what your proposal is, what your idea is, what side of an issue you might be supporting. That is your thesis, your master statement. And once you get past that, you're going to let them know what it is you're going to unpack regarding the body of your speech. And with the body of your speech, we've spoke of this before, where you should limit that to 2 to 3 points. So basically, any of those points would be a claim. And those claims would support the master statement. They would always go back to your thesis. They would always be in conjunction with the thesis. So, for an example, if someone had asked me an impromptu question regarding do I support bringing in import automobiles to our country, I could say either yes or no. And if it's an impromptu question and I decide that I'm going to be on the no side of it, saying I do not support bringing in import automobiles to Canada, then I would have to make, that would be my thesis. No, I don't support bringing automobiles, import automobiles into Canada. And so then I would have to address it with a claim or 2 or 3. So one of my claims might be I don't agree with this because of jobs and the economy. So my first claim would be jobs, and I would go and scour the net and find all the information I could regarding how many people work in the auto industry and find information regarding that. So that would be my evidence and support with regards to the first claim of jobs, and that I don't agree with bringing in import automobiles to our country because of the job sector. Perhaps I'll find out exactly how many people work in the auto industry in Canada, and for each number of vehicles that we import, it brings down the employment rate in our auto industry by a certain amount. And I would come up with 2 or 3 points of evidence or support that do support that claim. And as I mentioned before, perhaps my second claim would be the economy. And I would do the exact same thing. I would introduce the second claim as well as introduce some evidence and support that supports that claim, which in turn supports the thesis. Perhaps I could find out the income of what the auto industry makes and what they contribute to the community, and how having the unemployed auto workers, how that would directly affect the community, and so forth. Again, on the other side of it, I could make the thesis that yes, I do support import automobiles coming in, and though I could make 2 claims saying safety and engineering, and perhaps then I could go and research all the import automobiles that have great safety ratings, and I could also research all the import automobiles that are perhaps better engineered than our automobiles here domestically. So again, it doesn't matter what side a person is on an issue. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about having your master statement, having those claims that support the statement, and then having your evidence that supports the claim. And in that way, you're building a strong case, and you're coming across more credible as a speaker. And we have to also realize that not all of the research you do is going to be information and stats that are researched on the internet, or that we can get hard and fast numbers to. Perhaps the impromptu question might be something along the lines of, should teenagers get an allowance for doing chores? Again, you could answer, you could be on the yes side of it, and again you would address it with your thesis, your master statement. You would make a few claims, and then you'd have your evidence that supports your claims. And if someone decided they were going to be on the no side of it, that no, they don't think that teenagers should get an allowance for doing chores, they would come up with their own support and evidence to their claims. And as long as, again, the evidence does not have to be statistics and facts and numbers and graphs and everything else, the evidence can be hypothetical. As long as the evidence is hypothetical, it also has to be probable. So one could make the argument that they don't believe the teenagers should receive an allowance for doing chores because they may grow up thinking that they don't have to contribute to the community unless they're given something in return, or something like that. So that's definitely plausible for a hypothetical situation. Again, as long as it's plausible, you can weave it into your claim. If it's not plausible, then it becomes the more unplausible it is, the sillier it becomes. So if you do come across delivering a hypothetical argument, make sure that it is in fact plausible. What else can I say about this? So again, your thesis is your master statement, your idea, what it is you're proposing, what it is you're supporting, and with that you're going to make your claims, your 2 to 3 points, 1 or 2 claims or 3 claims. And under your claims you're going to give your evidence, you're going to give your support, and you're going to do the same thing with each subsequent claim. So your evidence and support supports your claim, which in turn supports your thesis or your master's statement. And that's all it's about, really. And once you get that that whole process down in your head as you're delivering a presentation, it doesn't matter at any point if you get lost for words. You just have to remember where you are. If you've gone past your master statement or your thesis, and are you in claim 1, and have you addressed your support statements for that claim? And are you in claim 2? Have you addressed those support statements for that claim? So it's not so much about remembering the words that you were supposed to say. It's more about remembering where you are in that presentation, and are you in claim 1 on your second evidence or second support statement? Are you in claim 2 on your first support statement? That's basically all you have to remember, and in that way you're building a very solid case, whatever your talk might be about, because it's built on a solid rubric, on a solid set of guidelines that helps you go through. Helps you weave your way through putting a good presentation together. And again, once you sort of get into that habit of addressing any talk using this formula, it becomes easier and easier, and you don't get put back if somebody asks you a question out of the blue, whether you might know something about it or not, or if you're not rehearsed. If you know enough to use this guideline to help you through it, you're going to put together a decent presentation rather than coming up blank. So I encourage you to do your best regarding any presentation you're doing, and find ways that you can use this rubric to help your presentation in an impromptu speech or an informational speech or a persuasive speech. In the meantime, enjoy yourself, go out and have fun, do what you can to support others and do what you can to help others. If you do have any questions, please feel free to send them to my website at www.yoursuccesspdq.com, and I'll answer them as soon as I can. Enjoy your day.